My name is Forrest Walden. I'm the founder and CEO of Iron Tribe Fitness. I've been married. Next year will be 21 years. I have 4 beautiful children ranging in ages from 10 years old to 18 years old. 2 girls, 2 boys. The youngest is adopted from Ethiopia. So I have been in fitness my entire life. And when I went to Auburn, I didn't know what else I wanted to do with my life other than I loved working out. And that just led to a career in personal training. In 2001, I opened up an individual studio called Fitness Together and eventually grew that concept to 55 locations over 3 states. I was a franchisee and then a master franchisee. So about 5 years into Fitness Together, I was making more money than I had ever expected to make. Honestly, my plan was either to be a high school football coach, not that there's anything wrong with that, but I was just not money driven. I wasn't this vintage entrepreneur who always wanted to open my own business. I just kind of stumbled into it, following my passion, and big journaler. And one of the journal entries that just came up over and over was why? God, why have you chosen to bless me? And I think somewhere along the line, I started to believe he was blessing me because I was working hard and I was studying and I was hiring mentors. And maybe some of that's true, but ultimately what it led to was some soul searching, which culminated in a sermon. David Platt had come to our church. He was a touring pastor at that point, had not been hired, but he preached a message called The Ultimate Disconnect. It was based off Psalm 67, 1 and 2. And the whole message was, have you disconnected the blessings of God from the purposes of God? And literally walked us from Genesis to Revelation and showed us every time God blessed his people, it was for his purposes. And it was just one of those moments. I felt like I was the only person in the church, and I felt like God was answering that question, why? And I really was convicted that I had been wasting it up to that point. And that led to, for the first time, some international mission trips. I had been a believer since a very young age. I'd never traveled overseas, and God just opened my eyes to just the urgent physical and spiritual need around the world. And one trip led to multiple trips, and me and a few of my really good friends that were in small group together just started traveling the world. And we were all business owners, and we all felt like God was calling us to do more with what he had entrusted us with. And we didn't know what that meant. We started gathering and just praying on Tuesday mornings for about a year. We started very basic. We really didn't even know what we wanted to do. We just wanted to do something. And ultimately what we knew is everywhere we went, in every different context, we saw the need for water. And it just kept growing and growing. And ultimately it led to the creation of neverthirst. neverthirst works in multiple countries with multiple different types of projects, just given on what's the need on the ground. So whatever the need is, we go in and provide that project. And then what we do is we partner with the local pastor who already has a heart and is ministering to an area that needs water. So where we look for alignment is a vendor who can provide the water. We are not an implementation ministry. We are a fundraising ministry. Ultimately, we tell the story, raise funds, and then connect those funds with the local church in these hard to reach areas. But we're looking for the implementing partner, and then we're also looking for a church that aligns with our belief system and our theology, and then ultimately we want to know that it's evangelical and they're reaching out. And then when those things align, we can jump in and really pull it all together and provide a way where we can create impact and measurable impact so that when a donor gives, we can come back and say, here's your village. This is what it looked like before water, and now here's what it looks like after water. Oh, and here's a testimony from the pastor of how he used to be kicked out of this village. He used to be beaten. His kids were beaten. He was rolled down a hill. I mean, so many different examples, and now they call him uncle. And now they're welcome, and now a church is being built, and now people are coming to know Jesus because he extended water. No one was doing that in their community. No Muslims were extending water. No Buddhists were giving water. Christians came in and gave water, and it made them stop and say, who is this God you talk about? neverthirst was growing. Our board, it was really our dream board, had come together. Funds were coming in more than we had ever expected. And I really felt like my role was going to be to grow this ministry. And I remember God telling me I was done with what I was doing at the time. I had this successful business. And I thought, well, that can only mean one thing. I mean, look at what God showed me all around the world. But he started to birth in my heart a desire to start another fitness business. And for about 18 months, I wrestled, fasting, praying, saw counselors, because I was so scared that it was my flesh that wanted to start another business. How could I do anything else but give my life to this ministry when I had seen kids dying from diarrhea and just all the things we'd been exposed to? But God made it abundantly clear that He's given me unique talents and passions and abilities in the for-profit space. And so I ended up starting another fitness business. And from the very beginning, I said, I don't want to disconnect what we're doing here with Neverthirst and what I've seen around the world. And so from the very beginning of Iron Tribe, we started an annual workout called Workout for Water, and it's grown every single year. And basically we get together, we do a workout, we raise funds, people give, and in the last 10 years, it's raised over $4.5 million. So it's been a pretty significant funding arm of Neverthirst. And it's been just really cool to see the way God can take my entrepreneurial heart and talents and continue to partner with the urgent spiritual and physical need around the world. Iron Tribe is a group personal training franchise. So we own and operate 5 locations here in Birmingham, and there's another 26 franchisees across the Southeast. So one of the cool things about going back into business is I went in with a renewed sense of, God, this is your thing. And if you're calling me to stay in for profit, just show me how I can leverage my time, my talents, my resources for the kingdom. And of course, the kind of big glamorous is the money we've given to Neverthirst, but there's been some real practical ways we've been able to use it as well. I mean, this location in particular has been used as a startup building for a startup church. We're not open on Sunday, so we've literally had baptisms and worship and communion right here in this building, and that's happened at several of our locations. Even our franchisees have done that. We've had multiple locations. Actually, just about all my locations are hosting some type of Bible study. And often we find that people who may never have stepped foot in a church are open when their coach says, hey, a couple guys are getting together to read the Bible, who's in? I think one of the biggest things that I've learned on this entrepreneurial faith journey is that there's no dichotomy. There's no sacred and secular with some neat little split down the middle, and my Sunday is sacred and my Monday through Friday is secular. And I think I knew that head knowledge, but when I went through the period of, am I supposed to run a nonprofit and give my life away, or am I supposed to start a business? I had created that dichotomy that it was one or the other. And what I've learned is everything God gives us is sacred. He's given us those talents for a reason, those passion for a reason, and it's ultimately our good and His glory. And so look at what He's blessed you with, the context He's put you in, the resources He's entrusted to you, and just ask, God, how can I use these for your glory? Yes, in your neighborhood, yes, in your city, but around the world, because I suspect that He has the perfect fit that you may not have imagined in a million years. Like, I don't think that up. He's got it rigged. He just needs us to surrender. And so I would really encourage, especially the entrepreneurs, but really anyone, don't create this dichotomy. It's not an either or, it's a both and it's an amazing way to really get fulfillment. And everybody's talking about what is your why. There's no bigger why than your business platforming the eternal destiny of people you may never meet.